Mr. Robert Durst. The defendant is present with Mr. DeGuerin and Mr. Chesnoff. We have Mr. Henderson at counsel table, and also Mr. Milius and Mr. Bailey are present. Mr. Henderson, you may resume playing the conditional examination of Nick Chavin.
Let's go a little bit further in this same conversation to page 20. And I'll read your response here. Line 1, page 20. I think I'm telling you what happened. I mean, I expected him to tell me one way or the other, and he didn't, meaning did not. That's what you said, isn't it?
Apparently.
Did you have in mind then what you now claim that Bob confessed to you?
I think that's correct. It wasn't point blank what he said. He said I had no choice, it was her and me. He didn't tell me point blank, I killed him.
Well, again, to use your father's example that you used earlier, if you just tell part of something, that's not the truth, is it?
It's probably a half-truth what I'm doing there. I wasn't prepared to talk about it.
A half-truth is a lie, isn't it?
Well, I wasn't under oath, I was in a telephone conversation.
Well, would it make a difference if you were under oath?
Yes, it would.
So you would more easily lie if you're not under oath?
It's very subtle whether that's even a half-truth. There was never a point blank description. I mean, I think you're really exaggerating what I'm saying.
Let's go on to page 20, page 37. Here's a excerpt of, it's on page 10, on lines 10 through 13 of page 37. What I think you're hearing and what would happen is Bob wanted to tell me something and he didn't. Did not. It was he wanted to confess to something, but he did not. So twice there in that one paragraph, you tell the prosecutors that he didn't say anything incriminating.
He also said, I don't know what else it could have been. I mean, I see the person waffling and not wanting to describe everything here. We're seeing two different things.
Waffling?
Yeah.
That's your term? You were waffling?
Yeah.
Is
I think
waffling
I know
telling the
myself.
truth?
What was your question?
Waffling
Is
is
waffling telling the truth?
the whole truth.
Just a minute. Repeated it for the court reporter who requested that I do so.
You're talking to me?
I was telling you what I was doing. I repeated it for the court reporter because she asked me to. Do you have the question in mind?
No.
Is waffling telling the truth?
I don't know the waffling is hedging yourself. I mean, I think there's subtle shades here, and you're not seeing them. What I should have said is I don't want to tell you about it, but I didn't say that.
Okay, that's April the 7th. You went on to continue to, in effect, tell the prosecutors that Bob didn't say anything to you, didn't you?
Well, you just asked me about something we haven't looked at yet, didn't you?
Well, no, I'm not asking you about what's on the screen right now. Didn't you go on to continue to tell the prosecutors in that conversation that Bob didn't tell you anything?
I don't know without reading it, I can't know from that far in the past what
All right, page 43 of the same April the 7th transcript. lines 18 through 24. He denied telling me what he wanted to tell me about Susan or Kathy. I mean, he was the one who said he wanted to tell me things, and then he didn't. He went on to say, I think I called him twice. He just kept walking away. So you're telling the prosecutor she didn't tell you
Well,
anything.
that was when I asked him about Kathy when
I'm
he
not
was.
asking you when, I'm asking you the question. You kept telling the prosecutors that he didn't say anything.
Well, he denied telling me what he wanted to tell me. I'm not sure, I mean, I don't know what denied telling me means. I mean, I know I said it.
It seems to me, perhaps I'm wrong, but Mr. Chavin, that you're saying here today, February 2017, that you can't remember what you told some prosecutors about 2 years ago, but you do remember something that you claim Bob said even longer ago than that.
Well, you've confused me. What's the thing I can't remember the prosecutors
Well,
saying?
you seem to be expressing a lack of memory about things that you said to the prosecutor that I've shown you, that's recorded, that's been transcribed. You claim that you don't really remember saying that? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that if I see something written that I said years ago, or anyone has shown that, they're not going to necessarily remember saying it. They can acknowledge seeing it, but no, I don't remember I don't remember the details of this conversation. I'm sorry.
It would be amazing if you did remember the details, but having been shown a transcript of it, do you deny that those are your words? I think I called him twice, he kept walking away, and also, he was the one who said he wanted to tell me things, and then he did not. You deny saying that?
It's hard to deny what's written. I would feel better if I heard it, because it just, I know I didn't want to speak about it then. I know that. And this is just the way on a telephone call, the way I avoided answering this question. And based on knowing myself, I know it's exactly what I did.
You've been out here 2 weeks, haven't you? A little
Yes,
over 2 weeks.
yes,
And you've been under the care, custody, and control of law enforcement out here.
yes.
And you've had plenty of opportunity during that time to study all of these transcripts if they had been given to you, haven't you?
If they had been given to me, which they weren't.
And you've had plenty of time to review all of the recordings of your conversations with the prosecutors. If they had given them to you for review, haven't you had time?
Haven't I had time to see something that didn't happen, you're asking me?
So let me boil those questions down a little bit more. You've already said you've been here for over 2 weeks and in the care of the law enforcement, right?
Yes,
By here, I mean in Los Angeles, not in New York.
yes.
And you've had plenty of time, if they had given you the recordings, to have listened to them, haven't you?
I can't know that. There were hundreds of pages, I think. I don't know. I mean, I wasn't given them, so what's the point of the question?
If I were to tell you that there were about 8 hours total of recordings, assume that fact, you've had enough time to listen to them over and over again, haven't you?
I can't
During
know
the
that.
time you've been here waiting to testify.
I can't know that. Some things take a while. It wouldn't be speed reading. I'd be going slowly. I just don't know. I've never read that many hours of transcripts before. I don't know how long it takes.
Well, let's go at it a different way. Let's talk about just the length of the recordings. If recordings have a total of about 8 hours, you've been here 17 days, have you had enough time to have listened to that?
I have no way of knowing. Look how long it's taken just to look at a few lines.
I didn't ask you about the lines, I'm asking you about the recordings. 8 hours. You've had enough time to listen to 8 hours of recordings, haven't you?
Listening to and listening carefully, I don't know how to answer that. I just don't know how long something like that takes. I've never listened to 8 hours.
Well,
of
if it takes an
transcripts.
hour to listen to an hour-long recording, does that give you a clue?
No. Listening to it, you might want to play it over and over and over again. There are some things you hear recorded, and you're looking at them over and over, and listening to them over and over.
We heard a recording yesterday. It was played for us.
Yes,
It took as long to listen to it as the recording took, didn't it?
listening to it and evaluating it are different.
Okay. So, do you recall talking about Mr. Bagley in this conversation?
This conversation that we're looking at now,
The one on April the 7th?
no, I don't recall it because I don't recall the whole thing. If I look at it, I'll
Okay, page 46.
okay.
Hey, are you able to read that?
No, I-
It starts about line 8. I'll read it for the record. Let me tell you something that I asked Charlie Bagley. This is you speaking.
Right.
And we were talking about both of them. But I said, what would you do if suddenly, after all these years, Kathy, really, you know that she was alive and living with someone else in Bolivia? What would you think? And he said, now you're quoting Charlie Bagley, I think that he was the most maligned and hurt person by everyone that I've ever known.
I remember that.
You do remember that?
Yes.
Okay. So at least that part's accurate.
Well, it's a very unusual statement. And also, it's someone else talking to me. Yes, I do remember. I'm sorry.
Did the prosecutors ask you to speculate who killed Susan?
Not that I recall.
In April, a little later than it should be, April the 23rd. This is our triple D, exhibit 9. And the first page of the transcript is on the screen. Page 3. Just look at what you say here. Here you're describing the same dinner that you described on court, aren't you? So we had dinner, and we left, and we were out on the sidewalk saying goodbye. And I said, I reminded him that he wanted to talk to me about it. And he said, oh, he mumbled something. Oh, we didn't talk about it. And he said, next time. That's what you told the prosecutors. That was your description of that meeting, right?
Essentially the same. I didn't want to talk about it.
I didn't ask you that. That was your description of the meeting, wasn't it?
If that in fact is what I said, yes, I want to hear it, but I'm believing it as I see it.
We will stipulate that we provided these transcripts to the defense, and we did our best to make them as accurate as possible. But we can't guarantee to the ultimate accuracy. That's up to the audio itself.
So stipulated,
That's fine.
or accept the stipulation.
So then don't ask me if I believe it. I'd like to hear it.
Well, we'd be here at least 8 hours. And as you say, it would take much longer to hear them correctly. So the most efficient use of the court's time and of yours, Mr. Chavin, if you don't want to come back next week and be here for another week.
Why don't I say the audio is the same?
Please.
All right, now let's, your obligation has nothing to do with the court's schedule. Your obligation is
Okay.
simply to tell the truth. So answer the question as best you can. If you can't remember, that's acceptable. Yes or no is acceptable.
So here's my question. You said to the prosecutor that you didn't talk about it, and he said next time. That's what you said, isn't it?
That's what's written.
Yes, that's what you said, isn't it?
If the audio bears that out, yes.
Did you hear what the prosecutor said, that they did their best to provide an accurate transcript?
Of course I did.
Okay. Well, if we can assume that they did their best and that this is accurate as much as possible, that's what you said, isn't it?
I'm trying to say that if that's what the tape bears out, yes.
Okay, that's
Is
what
that
you're
not a good
saying.
answer?
I'd be happy to frame my questions, assuming that this is an accurate transcript.
Good.
Okay. Sounds
Counsel,
like
do you want us, we'll stipulate that for the remaining of the questions, you will not have to say in advance that assuming this is an accurate transcript, that it would be incorporated. We would offer that stipulation if you're willing to accept it, it might help.
Well, yes, I'm willing to accept
that.
that.
Right, so the parties agree that it's pretty, you might not, it's pretty close to whatever it is.
Yes.
You said, that's in fact your voice on the tape that you heard.
Right.
So I think you can fairly accept this sort of answer to this question.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, so, once again, you said, not that he said, it was her or me, I had no choice. He said, next time.
Yes,
That's an
but
affirmative statement by you, isn't it?
except that next time doesn't occur in the previous thing that we looked at. It only occurs here, so I'm clearly just dodging and trying not to talk about it. Right, because I didn't say next time the other thing we looked at.
Well, I didn't ask you that question. My question was about your statement next time. You told the prosecutors that Bob said to you, next time.
As we sit
Is
here
that
now,
right?
I don't,
What you did?
that's what I said, that's not what I remember.
Did you also tell the prosecutors, I don't know what he's trying to tell me?
Yes. But I know that he's trying to tell me something. You didn't highlight that.
Okay, so let's put that together. Here it is, April the 23rd of 15. And you're telling the prosecutors that you don't know what he said, or what he was trying to say, excuse me.
Yes, that's what I said.
Do you have generally in mind, Mr. Chavin, that during this time, by this time I mean in April, and then bleeding into May and June and so forth, but particularly in April, you did not want the prosecutors to contact your wife, Terry.
Yes.
And so the record and the court can be clear on that. You are married to Terry, T-E-R-R-I or T-E-R-R-Y?
Why? Teresa.
Teresa. Everybody that knows her is Terry, right?
Although most people know her as Teresa, I call her Terry.
Okay. And, but you do not live together, is that right?
No, we do live together.
All right. But you didn't want the prosecutors to talk to Terry.
At that time, no.
And so we can be clear in the record, and the court can, Terry works for Douglas Durst.
No, she works for the Durst organization, a huge organization, not for Douglas specifically.
And Douglas is very influential, isn't
In spheres of government and politics and real estate, yeah.
he? Was there a time when
You're younger, 72.
Was there a time when you were making a pitch to Douglas during this time? And I'm
To
talking
the Durst organization, not to Douglas.
well, to the Durst organization.
Right. Yes.
And when was that period of time?
It's about a year and a half ago. I don't know exactly. I'm not good with dates.
During the time of these conversations with the
I
prosecutor?
think it was over by then.
You knew well the relationship between Douglas and Bob, didn't you? They hate each other.
Yeah.
And by this time, you were hoping to, well, you're making a pitch to the Durst organization, so you were hoping to get some business, right?
Yes, me and our team, our whole agency.
You knew that Douglas wanted Bob put away.
I knew it as a fact. He never told me as such, but that was, I think, just believed by people.
Well, that's what you told the prosecutors, didn't you?
Well, since I didn't hear it directly from Douglas, if I did, it's hearsay, I think.
Okay. I'm back now to our exhibit triple B. It's April the 6th conversation, line 24. The question is, can you read that right now? It's on your screen.
But I'm not. Yeah, I see that.
All right, let me read it. This is your words. I'm in the middle of a really big pitch for one of the biggest jobs in the city, for Douglas Durst to trust me now. I gave, there's some ellipses, Douglas is, you know, scared to death of Bob and certainly wants to see Bob put away. It could only help me. I read that correctly?
With the exception of what came after gave and what came after but I'm not.
Well, did I read correctly what's on the screen?
Yes,
The transcript?
but I don't exactly know what's being said. And I don't recall saying.
Well, let's take it apart.
Okay,
You're making a really big pitch,
right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
For one of the biggest jobs in the city for Douglas Durst to trust me now. Right?
Yes,
That's your words. Right?
yes.
Douglas is.
No, you skipped. I gave.
Well, that's, the transcript skips there. But here's my question. Douglas is, you know, scared to death of Bob and certainly wants to see Bob put away. Those are your words?
Yes,
And then you say, it could only help me. What you meant there about it could only help me is if you could say something bad about Bob.
no, I don't think that's the assumption. There's no antecedent for what it is.
Well, the antecedent, to use your words, is Douglas wants to see Bob put away. And you could help. Right?
I think you're making an assumption that I don't see here.
Well, are the words there?
Sorry.
Are the words there?
Yeah, except for what came after. I mean, we've lost the thread of the conversation. An ellipse.
Let me ask you, Mr. Chavin, what did you mean by Douglas wants to see Bob put away, it could only help me?
I can't say as I sit here now.
You just don't recall?
No, there's not enough information on what it means.
Well, if you could say something bad about Bob that would help put him away, that would help you with Douglas, wouldn't it?
In your words, yes, but I don't know that it says that here. I just have to know what it means.
Well, let's just go to the premise that if you could say something bad about Bob that would help him put away, help him be put away, it would help you with Douglas, wouldn't it?
You know, it does depend on what I'm not. I could be saying, but I'm not going to do that. Couldn't it say that
Well,
reasonably?
let's go on down, just to the next word. But I'm not, and the next thing you say is, I'm just saying those are just, go ahead. And you say, yeah.
Well, I'm sure Douglas wants the truth just like everyone else.
And then you say, he just wants to see Bob ever out.
I don't know if that's never out or ever. I mean, I don't know what it's supposed to say.
Back up to the words that we're trying to figure out what you were trying to convey here. When you say that it could only help you, that would mean words that would hurt Bob, right? Something that would hurt Bob in his case.
We could go up and back on this. I don't see it that way. You do, and I understand that you do.
Can you explain then what you meant by it?
Well, I try to. I say, no, I mean, and then... I mean, are you suggesting that... I don't know what you're suggesting. I don't even know what I'm talking about.
I'm asking you, sir, what you meant by it could only help me.
And I
What
can't
could
tell
only
from
help
this.
you? Let me finish my question.
Okay.
What could only help you? Is it that if you were able to say something that would help put Bob away, that would help you because it would help you with Douglas Durst?
Douglas wants the truth just like everyone else. I think what we're saying here is that Douglas wants me to tell the truth. Isn't that reasonable? It says that.
I'm going to jump way ahead here for just a second. We'll just have a short period before lunch, but there was a conversation that you had with the prosecution on July the 23rd. It's our triple I. And I want to go to page...
Aye.
33. Before we put that on the screen, is it fair to say you wanted to do everything in your power to have Douglas Durst feel the best about you?
No.
Did you say you're close to Douglas Durst?
No.
Let's go to page 33 of the transcript for July the 23rd, 15. I want to do everything in my power to have Douglas Durst feel the best about me. Those are your words, aren't they?
Yes, but not with reference to business.
Here are your words. I want to do everything in my power to have Douglas Durst feel the best about me. You said that, didn't you?
Yes.
Even though you denied saying it about 2 or 3 minutes ago.
Those weren't the exact words of 2 or 3 minutes ago.
Did you say that your business depends upon goodwill with Douglas Durst?
Well, not my business with Douglas because I didn't get the job.
Well, that happened later, didn't it?
Almost the same time. That's kind of
My question is, did you say as the transcript has you saying, my business depends upon goodwill with his brother, meaning Douglas Durst.
Yes,
Who hates him? You said that.
yes,
I want to do everything in my power to have Douglas Durst feel the best about me. You said that.
yes,
That's what this is about. You said that.
yes, I don't know what I mean by this, but yes.
You didn't know what you mean when you said it, or you don't know what you mean, what you meant back then?
I don't know now as I say that's what this is about, but
Okay. Let me make sure I understand what you just said. You now don't know what you meant back then. Is that right?
no, but not seeing the whole thing, it's hard to know what this is about.
The next question is, did you know back then what you meant by that?
Probably.
So what did you mean by it?
I imagine the real estate business.
And did you say that you were close to Douglas Durst?
No.
Okay. Shoot, there's one line up.
Page now, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, this is page 33.
Thank you.
Are we talking about what's in the yellow above or what's in the yellow below?
The yellow, which is Nick stating, and I've come to be close to him. So did you tell prosecutors back then that you were close to Douglas Durst?
I've got to see what's above it.
All right. What's above it is that you said you wanted Douglas Durst to feel the best about me. That's what this is about. He's a great guy and a good client, and I've come to be close to him.
Well, I think that's wish fulfillment. Their wish, wishful
I
thinking.
didn't ask you whether it's wish fulfillment. I asked you whether you said it, you denied it, and now,
I said it, but I was never close to Douglas, so I don't know how you want to interpret
so
that.
you were lying?
When you're talking about being close to someone, it's an emotion. It's not exactly a factual statement that's a lie or not a lie. I tell people I feel close to you.
Well, that would be a lie, wouldn't it?
No, you say I feel it. No, if I feel it, I mean, come on. I'm
Well,
talking about feeling.
here's the deal. Here's the quotes in context. You say that your business depends on goodwill with Douglas Durst. You want to do everything in your power to have Douglas Durst feel good about you. That's what this is about. He's a great guy, good client, and I've come to be close to him, your word. And if you said anything about Bob Durst confessing a murder to you, that would put you in good graces with Douglas Durst, wouldn't it?
Yes, but why wouldn't I have said it then?
Garen, you may continue the cross-examination.
Mr. Chavin, you don't know exactly what dates you talked to the prosecution on, but there was a series of time up from April until July, but there were a number of telephone conversations, all of them recorded. We have transcripts of all of them. What I'm going to do is play the entire recording of July the 23rd and to put it in context. There was a period of time when you did not want prosecution to contact your wife's character, right?
Yes, yes.
And then there was a particular phone call where you said, well, it's okay to contact her.
Yes, sir.
But then, after they did contact Terry, you had second thoughts about it, didn't you?
I believe so, yes.
And in fact, kind of you got angry about it.
Okay.
That's true, that's a fair statement.
Yes.
The tape recording, or the recording that I'm going to play in its entirety, we've just arranged for you to have a transcript of, so you can follow along.
Okay.
And it's the recording in which you began early saying Terry is hysterical. Do you remember that, kind of generally remembering that?
Generally, yes.
Okay. And so, Your Honor, the transcript, we've agreed that the court reporter will not need to take down the transcript.
She will not.
And we will have substitute a transcript that's provided to us by the prosecution. It's our triple I.
May I proceed? Does the court want a copy?
No, copy it.
Raised an interesting question, that is what exhibit number to attach to your actual recording.
I see, this is a new recording?
This is July 23rd.
I see. So this is a new exhibit.
The triple I.
Transcript would be, the recording would be triple I and the transcript triple I.
By the way, Mr. Chavin, did you meet with the prosecution over the lunch hour?
No, I did not.
Just assumed he was down.
Okay. We start. Yeah.
Hey, Nick, you have John Lewin, Habib Alien, and George Shanlian on. Okay. Thanks. So here is the situation. Are you aware that you had told us to call Terry when we had.
I asked you if I could call her to tell you you were going to call her.
No. When we had spoken to you originally, you had said, "Hey, listen, I told all this info to Terry," and we said originally, "Hey, can we call her?" You said, "No, I don't want you to do it yet." And then last week, you said, "Okay, I understand." You said, "Go ahead and call her, but can I call her first?"
Right.
Right. So you ended up.
You told me to call her, but go ahead.
Boy, say that
No, I
again.
know, but you basically told us to call her to talk to her about the conversation that you had with her after meeting you out, right? You were going to call her. No. But the idea of calling her came from you. You were just telling me that you were going to call her.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. When you told us, we asked you, "Hey, have you ever told anybody this information? You talked about this situation." You said, "Yes, I've talked about it with my wife, and I've told her everything." So we said, "You know what? We're going to need to talk to her." So anyway, so what happened is that we talked to Terry on Friday, and then Terry called us back on Saturday. On Saturday, Terry related to us that gave us some information that you had not previously disclosed. Are you aware of what she told us?
No. Nor do I. Terry's a bit of an hysteric. She was like in tears, all upset, not speaking to me, so I don't really know. I was upset.
Well, so basically, she called us and she told us that you had contacted her and had told her before we called her on Friday that don't tell us about the thing Bob told you. And so, when we talked to her on Friday,
That's not true.
when we talked to her on Friday, she did not disclose that. On Saturday, we talked to her. She called us back, and she gave us some information regarding something that Bob said to you at that dinner, which is...
Well, I have no idea what you're talking about. You gotta tell me what you're talking about. I don't recall even what I told you. You know, people don't just memorize every aspect of the conversation and say, hey, this is what was said.
No, Nick. So what she told us was, she said that that when you had come back and you had told her that, and this is, recent, not 20 years ago, that you had had dinner with Bob and that Bob had said something to you. You also had told us during the first conversation you had dinner with Bob, and the words that you had used was, you had said that when I asked if Bob confessed, you said he didn't have to. Do you remember telling us that?
No. What?
Okay,
I don't even know what it means.
so
I don't even know what she's told you that I said to her. No, he didn't.
So you don't have any idea. Have you haven't talked to her about this since she spoke to us at all?
I don't remember every conversation I had.
No, Nick. I'm just asking if you talked to her in the last couple of days about this.
No.
Oh, okay. And so you haven't. So she talked to us on Friday. And she told
Terry likes to get all excited about stuff and keep making calls, and she's just making it that way. Yeah. The first time we spoke, what you called her.
What's that?
That's why I didn't want you calling her, because I knew this would happen.
Well, we had when we said to you, we said, hey, listen, Nick, we've got, we need to contact her, and we originally said, hey, listen, don't do it yet.
Right, I know you're repeating that.
Okay, no, and so we followed what you said, and then this week we said, listen, we need to call her, and you said okay. So
But if I said not to, we should not. You're gonna call her anyway. You said.
well, no, well we asked.
That's how I understood that call.
Well,
I would have said don't call her.
well,
Why would you say no call? Because she gets very, very, very upset. She was crying for 2 days.
Well, Nick, I'm gonna tell you that what she told us in this last conversation is that you and Bob ended up going out to dinner, and that when it was over, that Bob was, you guys were leaving, and that Bob had, in essence, during the conversation, Bob had said to you that he turned to you, and that Bob kept dangling carrot-like, like I'll tell you what happened, and he wasn't doing it, and you were pressing him, and finally he turned to you and he said it was either Susan or me.
No, that didn't happen. She told me that she said that. I said, you told me that. I said, no, it didn't, and it didn't happen.
Well,
No one else did that.
wait a minute.
I don't know what to tell you. You don't know why, do you?
No, Nick, I want you to be truthful. You just said a moment ago, right now you just mentioned that you told Terry that never happened, but a moment ago you said to me you haven't spoken to her about this. So you've had a conversation.
Well, no, she told me. I thought she told me that line is all she told me. That she said. Which line are we talking about? Something about what you just said. She never said a line. So what line are we talking about? She did. What Terry told you, claimed I told her. Well, John, but you kind of interrupted John. He never actually said the line.
No, I didn't.
What line we're talking about? Well, I don't know. Then you got to repeat it again.
Wait, Nick.
Sounded like you knew, but
What Terry told us, you told her Bob said was it was either Susan or me, and then Bob walked away. And you're saying Bob never told you that.
Right.
So
Did you ever tell Terry that? That's what he said. No, when I told her, I didn't tell her.
wait, so let me back up, Nick.
Yeah.
So a moment ago, I asked you if you had any conversation with Terry about this since we talked to Terry. and you told me you hadn't, but then, you know.
Okay, so we said no. Well, we didn't have a detailed conversation. That particularly came up.
Okay, so that's what, so here's what I want to establish. So my understanding is Terry is telling us that what happened is that you contacted her after I called you last week, and you let her know that we were going to be calling her. And you agree that happened, right?
Yeah, why are you asking the same thing over and over?
Nick, I'm not asking the same thing over and over. I'm trying to make sure.
You are. You said that 3 times.
Okay, Nick, so she contacted you, and what you're saying is that you're agreeing with, but you're saying, no, you did not tell her, don't mention anything about what Bob said. You're saying that part's not true.
To my best of my memory, I don't recall saying that earlier, no.
Well, so let me ask you this, Nick. What reason would Terry have to lie about that?
I don't think she's lying. She's misremembering. And because, I mean, I'm sure that she wants, that has to do with her job. She wants it, you know, everything to look like, I don't know why she said it. You're asking me why? I don't know why. That's not what happened. I told her that's not what happened.
Nick,
what happened was what I told you in our phone call.
okay, Nick, are you writing a book? Nick, are you writing a book?
Am I writing? I'm always writing a book.
Well, Nick, are you writing a book with Charles Bagley regarding the situation with Bob, or have you discussed that?
Last question, no. And I don't want to keep saying no. I'm not writing a book with Charles Bagley, and I don't think Charles Bagley's writing a book.
Nick, listen, I'm trying to,
my life is not what's happening here. I don't want to talk about that.
Well, Nick, listen, what's important is that I'm getting a story from you, I'm getting a different story from Terry. I'm trying to figure out what motivation does Terry have to be making this up, and then when I ask you if you told Terry that, or Terry's lying, you're saying, well, I'm not saying Terry's lying, I think she misunderstood me. I'm trying to figure out how could she misunderstand you?
Well, maybe she's lying. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what motivates her.
Well,
I do know that she's not exactly accurate about stuff, and her memory is extremely shaky lately. Did you ever tell Terry at any point in time ever that at any point in time Bob told you words to the effect of it was either Susan or me? No. Do you ever say anything like that? No. I'm not saying no. What he said is what I told you, but I don't want to keep saying it over and over again. No, I'm asking if you ever, at any point in history, told Terry that Bob said it was either Susan or me. I just don't think so. We drank, maybe I was drunk and I said it. I doubt it. I don't remember it. I certainly don't remember ever saying that.
Let me ask you that. I know you have felt badly about what you told us, and you felt disloyal to Bob. Have you been, since we talked, have you had any contact with either Bob or his lawyers, or his best friend?
No.
Anybody associated with Bob?
No. I just told you that. I told you I wouldn't talk to his lawyer, but you know what I mean. You're treating this like we're talking in court. So I really
No, Nick. Listen, you've told us before that we've been very fair with you, etc.
Right, but that seems to have stopped.
No, Nick, let me tell you where we're at. This is all I'm trying to do. When we talked to you, you've been very clear with us from the start. Your first conversation, you said, you know what, Bob basically admitted to me, we didn't say the exact words, but he basically admitted to me, Susan. And you
basically admitted to me, Susan?
He basically admitted to you that he killed Susan. He didn't use the exact words, but you said he didn't have to. And you talked about that occurring at dinner. Then Terry comes and tells me, you know what, at dinner, here is what Nick is saying Bob said. You've also told us during every phone call we've had that, listen, I can't tell you everything because it's damaging to Bob, and I feel like a bad friend. So what
you weren't at the dinner, and she wasn't at the dinner, so neither of you know. I was, and I'm sticking by what I told you originally.
Okay.
You don't think of anything
Nick, let me just ask.
Not necessarily truthful, and her memory.
Okay, let me just ask this, Nick. Have you been, when we we've spoken to you, have you been...
No, I'm never answering the same questions you asked. No.
Let me ask you, Nick, when we've spoken with you, have you always been honest with us? Forget about Terry for a second. Just have you been completely truthful?
So, I don't know. I don't remember everything I said.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Has there ever been a point when you've been talking to us where you have not told us everything that you know?
You mean everything about the Treaty of Friends when it was signed about prehistoric man?
Nick, I didn't ask you about the treaty.
You just said everything I know.
No, everything you know about the situation with Bob and Kathy. Have you been completely honest with us?
I don't think I could tell you everything in a 25-year relationship.
Nick, that's not what I'm asking. I'm
I
saying,
tried to answer your question as best I could.
so
That's everything you know about Bob's possible involvement in either Kathy or Susan's murder, and your knowledge of it. I don't know if I have or not. I thought I did. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. I remember different things all the time.
well, Nick, listen, I told you I would be straight up with you, and I have been, and what I feel is going on here is I feel like that what's happening is that you are kind of regretting what you told us, and you are trying to back away from those statements, and you're backing away from what you're
I'm backing away from you recording everything I say and having to be responsible for everything I say now. It's a future day. So I want to say as little as possible, okay? I was open and truthful with you when we were talking, and now I'm very, very guarded, okay?
Well, Nick,
That's what's
listen.
happening.
Well, listen, I told you from the start, whether you talk to us is up to you. That I haven't forced you to talk. I've always been respectful to you. When you didn't want us to contact Terry, I wanted to call Terry right away. I said, you know what, I'll wait. You know, have we been respectful and fair and honest with you?
Up to now.
Well, so what do you change now? Yeah, what is it that we're doing now?
Yes, now is that my wife's really pissed off at me and real upset. She doesn't want to keep thinking about Susan, and you've upset her.
Well, Nick, what your wife has said to us, and what your wife appears to be upset about, is that she wants you to come forward and tell the complete truth. That's what she's saying. So all that I'm asking is, this is the last question I'll ask you, Nick, and Lynn.
Okay, then I told you that, so
Okay, so here's my question. Would you agree, Nick, that as you sit here right now, for whatever reason, you have not told us everything that you remember about your knowledge of Bob's involvement in Susan and Kathy's murders?
No, I would not say that.
Okay, so you have told us everything you can remember.
To the best of my knowledge, yeah.
Okay, and then everything you told us.
No. This is another question. You told me you wouldn't have.
It's a two-parter.
You're not being truthful with me. John said he wouldn't ask you questions, but I have one question. Listen to this conversation. You indicated you weren't, I just want to make sure we're not playing with semantics. You indicated you weren't writing a book with Charles Bagley. Are you writing or not? I'm not writing a book. I'm not answering any questions. I'm always writing a book. I've got 3 novels I'm trying to get published.
It is one about Bob Durst.
No, last question, goodbye. There's nothing else I can say. Charles feeding you an awful line about stuff. Come on, Charles Bagley, ask him if he's writing a book.
Nick, listen, you understand that we, in our position, I have to call you and ask you these questions. You see,
Well, can I ask a couple questions now?
Absolutely.
Why do you want to know if I'm writing a book with Charles Bagley?
Okay, I'll tell you. Because obviously, if you are writing a book, there is an incentive for you to potentially try and save very important information for the book and not to tell us. Your book has...
Another question.
What's that?
Okay, I've got another question for you, okay?
Go ahead.
Isn't that what all writers do?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've got to get another question for you. Is that illegal?
No, it's not. Nick, it's not illegal.
Just answer the question now, sir. Is that illegal?
No, it is not. It is not illegal for you to hold back information from us.
One more question. Then why are you persisting in asking me since you know I probably wouldn't tell you if I am writing a book and I'd have nothing to tell you if I'm not writing a book?
Well, Nick, because what I need you to tell me which is good, that's why I asked the question. In the end, if you simply want to tell me, hey, I haven't told you or answered all of your questions fully because I don't want to, that's good enough for me. Is that where we are? If the answer to that is yes.
No. If someone offered me $1 million to write a book about this thing, I'd take it and do it in a heartbeat.
And well, let me ask you something. Would you, if you were doing that and you had information, that was titillating and exciting and key to the case, would you potentially save it for the book and not tell us?
I don't know. You're asking me about a hypothetical situation. The honest answer is I don't know.
Okay. Well, listen, but here's what you do know, Nick. And again, this is my last question, which you really haven't answered. This is it. Just answer this question.
I know your last question.
No, I'm telling you.
Is it a two-parter?
No, this is a one-parter.
Three-parter.
No, it's a one-parter. Nick, it's a one-parter. The question is simply this. As you're sitting there right now, it is. Are you, right now, Nick, are you aware that there are questions that I've asked you about Bob and Susan, that you have about Susan and Bob and Kathy, that you have chosen not to answer fully?
That's the same exact question that you asked us words differently.
But I don't think it will, so give me the answer.
I'm a writer and a wordsmith. I know these things.
Okay, so what's the answer?
The same thing, no.
Okay.
But sometimes at the beginning of your questions, I forget by the end what it was, so it could be the same, yeah. No, I'm trying to be truthful with you guys. If someone is telling you, is giving you false information.
Well, so that's why I'm trying to figure out what would Terry's motive be.
Let me put it this way. See, everything I tell you is you just use it. If you're not going to call Terry again, then I'll answer the question.
You mean am I never going to call Terry, or am I going to?
I wouldn't say never, but not relating to this conversation, not relating to what I'm about to say.
Well, here's what I can tell you.
You're asking what motivation she might have, right?
Well, I'm trying to figure out, and I can't make you any promises that I'm in advance as to whether I'm going to contact her. I can't answer that. I got to do a good job.
Let me ask you some questions. Do you know where Terry works?
Yeah, I do.
Where?
She works for the Durst organization.
Okay, I'll ask you another question, okay?
Go ahead.
What do you think Terry would want the Durst to think about what she thinks about Bob and Susan or Kathy or whatever?
Well, Terry's been very direct with us, Nick. I think Terry's concern is that their kids understand, your kids understand, that their father is doing the right and honorable thing. That's what I think.
That has nothing to do with the question.
No, that's what I'm saying.
We're not just autistic and doesn't know anything about any of this. Okay, you know that, right?
One of your kids, correct.
Okay, the other one is an attorney in San Francisco, partner in a law firm. All right, the other one, I'd like to go to law school, but is busy being a musician and living in Brooklyn and wasting hundreds of thousands of dollars in his education.
Well, and what
So I
Terry...
don't know, but yeah, I would like to, we all want our kids to think the best of us. Do you want your kids to think the best of you?
Absolutely.
So do I. But that's not the question I asked you.
No, but you asked me what Terry's motivation is. In essence.
No, I asked you first, do you know where she works? Second, what do you think she thinks that the Durst would want to believe about her relationship to all this?
I don't think that's even an issue, a concern for her. I don't
I don't know what her motivation is.
Well, I can tell you this, Nick.
Her memory's gotten terrible. I'm telling you, how older she is, but
Nick, this
from
is...
week to week, she doesn't remember things we talk about.
But Nick, this is what
Oh my God, that's the truth.
Well, Nick, this is what I can tell you, though. There are two possibilities for Terry telling us what she is saying that you are saying, okay? There's only two possibilities on it. It's not
You're
something...
going to get along, right?
Yeah, wait, it's not something...
Well, after 25 years, it gets a little shaky.
But listen, it's not something that someone's gonna forget. Terry is telling us that you told her this quote, which, by the way, sounds exactly like Bob. That's how Bob talks. That's how Bob... You agree, by the way, just knowing Bob.
That's the way he talks.
Knowing Bob, is Bob the kind of person where, in the end, is Bob going to say, yeah, I murdered Susan, or the way Bob speaks, is a Bob-ism going to be something like, yeah, it was either her or me?
That does not sound at all like Bob.
Really?
They asked me a question, don't ask me 10 different times, are you sure? Because I'm sure that's not what he talks about. And the other thing he says is just what he said on the HBO. See, none of us know why he said that, right?
What thing are you referring to?
Like I said, I told him halted or something like that.
None of us know why he said that.
I know, that's what I'm saying. That sounds more like...
Nick, because he murdered 3 people.
Right, but what I'm saying is he'd be more directed. The her or me is not the way, it's not the way he talks.
Well, okay. I mean,
He said something exactly like, you don't even know Bob. You ever talk to him? I guess he has, brother.
I mean, yeah, there's things I can relate and things I can't, but trust me, I know Bob very well, Nick. I've been working this case for a long time. But so listen. So going forward, I've been straight with you. This is, and I'm not asking a question, so you don't have to worry about answering this. Here's what I can tell you. I cannot make a witness tell me everything they know. I can't make a witness tell the truth. All I can do is I can encourage them, and I can plead with them, and I can do what I can. You're going to end up finding yourself in court. You're going to take an oath. You're going to say what you're going to say. I hope that in the end, Nick, I hope that you will be honest and won't perjure yourself.
I'm going to, in other words, you're saying now you're going to subpoena me. That's not.
Well, Nick, I've been honest.
Yes or no?
Well, Nick, I've been honest with you since you talked to me. I told you you're going to find yourself in court.
You never said that before. It's the first time you ever said that.
Nick, have you... Well, so here's what I can tell you.
That's the first time
Well,
you
hold
ever
on a
said
minute.
that.
Hold on a minute. What I can tell you is either you haven't asked me about it. If you asked
I didn't
me...
ask you. I never asked you.
Oh, okay. Well, then, had you asked me, you get the answer. I'm very...
But you're saying it now at the beginning of this conversation. You just said a few moments ago before I asked you.
No, well, Nick,
You're going to find yourself in court.
Well, Nick, I'm telling you now because my concern is I'm sitting here and I'm laying my cards on the table. I have a guy who I think cares very much about his friend, who regrets what he has told us, who wishes he wouldn't have spoken to us, and who is realizing, oh my gosh, I'm going to end up finding myself in court. He's going, this person...
Well, that's the case. I wish I hadn't spoken to you because I don't want to go to court over this, but if that's going to happen.
Well, Nick, obviously, so I'm telling you that in the end, that's where we're going, and I hope that you'll be honest with us and say everything you know. I can't make it happen. You have to make peace with whatever you're going to do or say. But that's my request for you, is to be, completely honest. And if you can't be completely honest now, and I understand it's hard, you have to think about things, I hope that by the time you come to court, you've thought this through, and that you're willing at that point to tell us everything.
If I had never taken your calls, would I still have wound up in court?
If you'd never taken my calls, you're still alive in court. That's a good question. I would have. You mean, let's say you had refused to call me back?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably what would have happened, Nick, is whether it would have been a grand jury or it would have been court, you would have ended up there because I would have believed, as it turns out accurately, that you had information that you didn't want to give us. So I would have said...
And then I don't regret talking to you, okay? I just don't like to get myself abused and I'm not getting in trouble.
So, Nick, you're the guy who wants to, so what you're basically saying is you bought the car at a certain price and you're now saying to the dealer, hey, by the way, could I have gotten it a little cheaper? And you feel better when I go, no, Nick, you paid the bottom price?
Yes.
Okay, well, listen, so it can make
And Nick, you should know that, I don't know to what extent you're holding back anything about your wife, but you should know that you would have found yourself in court whether or not Carrie was saying these things to us, whether she is or isn't.
But what's going to happen is that, you know, and you're a smart guy and you understand this. What's going to happen is you'll be in court, and then Terry will be in court. And I'm going to, you know, and what'll happen is there'll be your version, and I guess Terry's version, and the jury will decide what's accurate. Now maybe what'll happen, I don't know. Maybe by the time you get to court, maybe before then, you'll say, you know what, listen, here's what happened, here's the complete truth, and you know, you've told me from the start, Nick, the one thing you've always been consistent about is you've always been consistent on every call. Listen, I haven't told you everything. I can't tell you everything. I don't know if I'll ever be able to tell you everything because it's bad for Bob and it would make me a terrible friend. And I've always told Nick, I can tell you.
I never said it would be bad for Bob if I told you everything I do.
Yeah, you did, Nick.
I don't think so. Get that exact quote there.
Well, by the way, Nick, you know I'm not telling you anything you don't know. When we talk to you, we tape you.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I don't think you'll find that on tape.
Well, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Hold on, Nick. I'll tell you, I'm looking right now at my notes. Hold on a second.
Those tape are different.
No, well, listen, I mean, I have, I'm pretty confident because I'm listening to the tape. These are notes that I'm taking after I call, after the call, listening to the tape. These are, I'm trying to answer your question, Nick, and this is what you said. You said, hold on, Nick. You said that you were asked by us, I was told you that some witnesses will lie and that others will simply say they don't want to answer a question. And I said to you that you were told that when you were asked us if Bob ever admitted to killing Susan, you had a long pause and you agreed. You didn't say no. And you responded, I agree to that.
What am I agreeing to? What did I say about you?
So I told you, we're talking about what you had said before. I said, hey, Nick, you were asked before by us if Bob ever admitted to killing Kathy. You had a long pause. And I said, but you agree, you had a long pause, but you didn't say no. And you said, yes, I agree to that. You then were asked, hey, did Bob ever admit to killing Kathy? And you responded, that's even more tricky. And then you agreed that your hesitation was because of something you had recently talked about with Bob.
Okay, so I'll clarify that right now for you, okay?
Well, hold on. Well, let me just finish. You were asked, did Bob ever admit to you that he killed Susan? And your answer was, I don't want to answer that. When I asked you, have you ever asked Bob, did you kill Susan? You responded, that's another one of those I don't want to answer. When you were asked again about killing Kathy, and whether you wanted to answer that question, whether he killed Kathy, I'm sorry, did you ever kill Susan? Excuse me. You responded, I didn't have to. And Habib said he basically just said it to you then, and you responded yes. So listen, Nick, what I'm telling you is you're going to do what you're going to do, and I understand you're in a tough position.
Let me tell the truth.
You know,
You're driving me away from everything that could possibly help you. The other thing is not. Guys lie to their wives and try to make themselves look better anyway. I do. I'm a terrible liar. I'm not terrible. I am a liar. I'm a professional liar in advertising. And I believe everyone lies. I believe you lie. I believe all you guys lie. I lie. I encourage people to look in the mirror every day and say no liars. But I could easily have exaggerated any kind
you know, Nick, let me ask you this. If you told Terry that Bob told me that he killed Susan or he killed Kathy, you agree that the kind of person Terry is she would tell you you have to come forward, correct?
I don't know that. I don't know that to be the case. No.
Well, tell me. Well, you've been with her for 30 years. Is Terry the kind of person that if you told her that you had information that Bob had told you he admitted to either of his murders, you agree Terry's the kind of person that would tell you, Nick, you need to come forward. Do you agree?
No.
Tell me why.
Okay, but this is about another instance, and I'd like this not to be repeated, okay?
Okay.
Another court case, another time.
Nick, I cannot make you promises of it's not going to be repeated. What I can tell you is, listen, going forward, I mean, I think we're kind of at the, it is what it is. I'm leaving the door open to you, Nick. I told you before during...
Whether she would be come forward and do that, and I know of instances in her family where perjury occurred and she didn't come forward.
Nick.
Person you think she is.
Well, then you ought to tell me those situations, but I'm telling you that what you tell me, that there's no confidentiality when you're explaining to me what's going on. We're going to get to...
Do you have any reason to talk about
Nick, we're going to get to the truth of what happened.
well, isn't about what happened?
No, but Nick, listen to me. If you want to tell me whatever you want to tell me, I certainly want to listen. If you want to tell me, I'm not going to sit there and lie to you and tell you no. Go ahead and tell me I'm not going to talk to Terry about it. I'm going to have to likely talk to Terry about it. So if you're going to tell me, then okay.
I don't think I think Terry, you're the kind of person that would come forward and say do the right thing. Maybe, maybe not.
Okay. Well, listen. This last thing I'm going to say to you.
Wait, hold on. You told me very direct earlier on that you never told Terry that Bob had implied you or told you that he killed his wife. Now you're telling us that, well, you exaggerated to your wife to make yourself look better. Are you back with all that? No, I'm talking about other cases, not this. I'm just saying that's not always been truthful.
Wait, but Nick, what you said, and you've been very clear on this, you never told Terry that Bob said this. So Terry's either she's mistaken or she's lying, but you did not say it.
Yeah, she's either mistaken. I don't think she's lying. She's just mistaken.
Okay, well, let me ask you this, Nick. Nick.
It's news to me.
Well, Nick, she told us that what you told her was that you guys had a conversation and you found out that she had talked to us and that she had told you about this situation with Bob, this comment. This happened in the last few days since she talked to us. You talked to her and you told her, I lied to you, meaning you lied to her when you said it. Are you saying that's not true?
I don't know. It's confusing. If she's convinced that I did it, then I must have been drunk or something because that's not what happened. I can't really...
Okay, all right, listen.
I could have been drunk and lied about it, yeah.
Okay, well, listen. So here's where I'm going to leave it. Last thing I'm going to say to you on it. You're going to end up coming to court. I hope, Nick, that, at some point in time before then, if you decide that you're in a position where you can tell us the entire truth, everything that you know, I hope you do that. The door is open. We will always take your call. If you don't...
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to break until 1:30. Do not converse among yourselves or with anyone else on any subject connected with this case. Do not form or express any opinion on the case.